Hello, YouTube. So this is actually a very hard topic for me to deal with, but this is a vlog, so I will go into what I'm about to talk about. This topic is anxiety. As most of you know, I have Asperger's syndrome, which is essentially a condition on the autism spectrum, on the higher level of the autism spectrum. And while there's many great things to having anxiety, like I'm able to think in different ways, I'm able to see different things and understand different things that other people often aren't, anxiety is still, well, it makes you anxious. And I become panicky really easily. I become upset really easily. And sometimes my friends can't deal with it. Sometimes my friends can't deal with the fact that I pour out my emotions on them and that I expect them to help me. For that, I want to say that I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I can't be the friend you guys all want me to be. I'm sorry that I can't not be anxious. I'm sorry that I'm not normal. I really am. I'm sorry that I need someone to be there with me and comfort me when I'm really, really, really upset and depressed. You know, there's a lot of things that make me anxious. For me, the primary thing, though, is friends, loved ones just randomly leaving me. I've had so many people leave me in my life. It is ridiculous. It started with a couple of friends in high school in ninth grade named Karen and Rowena, and it just continued throughout high school. Senior year, I had one of my ex-best friends, basically. Um, he's a friend that I've known since 5th grade. He basically, along with his other friend, invited me to his homecoming group and kicked me out because everyone in his homecoming group didn't want to deal with me. They didn't want me in their homecoming group, and I was blamed for this incident. I'm still very upset about this, but I forgive him and I forgive her, despite they've never really apologized for it. But, you know, it's really hard to deal with these incidents on a consistent basis, because this is just one incident. Imagine having this time after time, year after year. It gets not just annoying, it gets frustrating, it gets hard to deal with, it gets emotionally burdensome. And I struggle with these feelings. I struggle so hard with these feelings. So, one of the major reasons that people tend to leave me is because they get frustrated with my anxiety. They get frustrated with my fixation on certain things, certain subjects, certain people. And they get frustrated, and they can't take it anymore. They can't take me always talking with them. They can't take me always just putting my feelings onto them. In essence, it kind of feels like to them that I am just doing that Superman thing with the eyeballs, and it's like transmitting this anxiety onto them. And I don't know exactly what it's like to feel, to be in their position, but I do kind of understand what it's like to be anxious. And maybe, I'm thinking just maybe, some of these people who have left me have become anxious because of the fact that I express my anxiety a lot. And I don't think I'm at fault for that. I think it's perfectly within um, my humane rights and under, within, I mean, it's perfectly understandable that I would want someone to talk to, and I would want someone to be with. And I don't justify their behaviors, and neither do I justify my behaviors in reaction to their behaviors, which aren't always great. But I just wanted to take the time and express to you guys what anxiety really is. Anxiety is this constant process of negative thoughts going through your head. So, for some people, it could be, did I get an A on that test? Did I fail that test? Did I bomb it? You know? Or am I going to pass this class? Am I not going to pass this class? And those are very simple questions that I think we all ask from time to time. But anxious people question themselves a lot. I question myself every single day. And a lot of people don't know this, but I do. I am consistently afraid of doing something wrong. And it's funny because I'm the same guy who says it's okay to make mistakes. It's part of the process of going towards success, of achieving. But I keep wondering, then why do I still have this fear? Why do I still have this anxiety of not being good enough? And the truth is, it's because my history with other people has influenced a lot of my anxiety and a lot of my behavior. So, for example, in 9th grade, 8th and 9th grade, I had these two people. They were very significant to me. They were friends, and I cared a lot about them. And then I wanted to join in their hangouts. They didn't really want me to. They didn't say that out loud, but they didn't want me to. And, well, things happened, and we argued, and they started ignoring me. They started treating me like crap, and to this day, I don't have a good relationship with them. But this made me anxious, and a lot of people started blaming me for that entire relationship, even though my issue, my major fault was only with my actions and not with theirs, which they were responsible for ostracizing me, for treating me like crap, basically. And people didn't recognize this. That only added to the anxiety. People blaming me, people, just spreading rumors about me, and that just piles up. And then so basically now these two individuals, they used to ignore me a lot. So now whenever, say, I get a notification on my phone, hey, wait, this is so-and-so, he or she is messaging me, and I'm trying to message something back, and I hear no reply. I don't get a reply or anything. And that's when I start worrying. And I start becoming really anxious. And it's really, really obvious on my Facebook message history. If you look through it, you will see like long texts, like, why are you not replying? Did I do something wrong? I'm sorry, or something like that. And then you'll see, sometimes there is the case, in fact, a lot of times there is the case that a person is ignoring me. And we'll get to that in a second. But there's also some times in which I have a true friend, and an example I'll give you is like my friend Stacy Tao. She's been really nice to me and has been there for me for this last year or so. And we met in Quail Valley. We weren't super close back then, but I mean, she still went to school with me. She still helped me become who I am today. And sometimes when she doesn't reply, I get really upset because I'm basically trained that way now. I'm basically trained to think that if someone doesn't reply, that must mean they're ignoring me. That must mean they're treating me like trash. That must mean they don't like me. And this just isn't the case with Stacy. Stacy is a busy individual who doesn't necessarily like getting on her phone that much. But, you know, it's always a worry. This is what anxiety is like. It leads you from one thought to another. And imagine having so many of these different thoughts, so many of these different cycles running through your head. So on one hand, I have, oh wait, Stacy isn't replying to my message or something like that. And then on another hand, I have, oh wait, this person, he's ignoring me, or he's mad at me, he's upset at me. And then another point, I may have my relationship with my father, and that's downhill, you know, and we fight a lot, we argue a lot, and you know, at first sight, you know, it looks like, wait a second, it's only a person that I have a conflict with, you know, one person. There's 7 billion people in the world, and it's really easy to say that, and it's really easy to say, okay, you know, that why not just ignore them? And that's what most people advise me to do. You know, they might not be ignoring you, but if they are, just ignore them back. But that's not easy. That is not easy at all. It is so difficult for someone like me, someone who wants to legitimately be friends with people, wants to legitimately love others, isn't even afraid to say I love you to his friends. It's very difficult for someone like me to really get that ability to just quote unquote move on, as other people say, and ignore people and whatnot. So anxiety is really not, in fact, most people with anxiety, for them, it's not one situation, it's multiple situations piling one on top of the other, out on top of the other, on top of the other. It's like, it's in a sense like how you get depression. You don't get depression from one thing, you get depression from not being able to handle so many things at once. And emotionally, that is. For me, my depression correlates well with my anxiety. I don't have clinical depression, at least I don't believe I do, but I do get depressed very often because of the situations that I live through, and because of the situations that I've been through. I have this one friend of mine. She was my best friend in high school, and her name is Kathy. She was there for me throughout freshman year, throughout sophomore year, and throughout junior year. And in senior year, we started having issues. I started getting upset. I was very anxious because, like I mentioned, my other friend, quote-unquote friend, senior year, you know, with the homecoming crisis and whatnot, you know, being included in their homecoming group and then excluded, And then I also had other issues regarding schoolwork and stuff. And I had just been in a residential treatment facility. So I was getting out of that facility and I came back to Dulles High School and I needed help. And Kathy would be there to help me. I was so anxious. I would always panic when I didn't understand a calculus problem. I'd ask her, "Why am I not getting this?" I would like bang the table, and I would be so incredibly upset. I was dissatisfied with myself. In some ways, I was dissatisfied with the fact that I couldn't make Kathy happy either, you know. And things happened, arguments, fights between me and Kathy, and before you know it, our friendship, it ended on a really, really bad note. Her father saw me as an abuser, and this isn't unusual because a lot of autistic kids often get themselves into these situations without really meaning to do so, where they're misunderstood. And suddenly, it's like the Kathy I knew and loved suddenly became someone else. She became Karen and Rowena. She became someone I don't know anymore. And it's hard. It's hard because she blocked me from everything. And I think about this every second of the day, every single second of the day. And it's funny because she blocked me. Our friendship basically ended on November 20th, 2015. And today it is May 12th, 2017. And I'm still extremely anxious. Extremely anxious. And I think about her every day. And some of this is because I legitimately care about her. And some people will say, if you legitimately care about her, why don't you just let her go? Why don't you just forget about her? Why don't you just give her what she wants? But how can I? How can I just forget the fact that my best friend turned 180 degrees on me, despite the fact that I was anxious, despite the fact that I was sometimes, I would argue, even verbally abusive at times. You know, I would yell at her. I would take out my anger, my feelings, my hurt on her. You know, despite that, there's a part of me that thinks, wait, she was supposed to be my friend, right? She's supposed to understand me and forgive me. I forgive her for everything, then why can't she forgive me? Why can't we just learn to forgive, and why can't we just learn to love? And it becomes really hard for me to deal with these emotions. Even 1.5 years later, I pray to God about this every single day of my life. It doesn't end. Sometimes it gets a little easier, but then it just goes back. And it's difficult. But that's what anxiety really is. It never ends. For the person going through anxiety, it's like this battle between so many different thoughts and ideas. So nowadays, it's kind of like, for me, am I going to do well in this test? Am I going to do well in that? And then I'm like, oh no, I didn't do well in this test. Oh, why did I get a bad grade? I'm so dumb. I'm so stupid. Why can't I be like Kathy? Yes, Kathy's a great student, an amazing student, much better than me. And then in regards to Kathy, I might have ideas like, wait, what is she doing? Is she doing this? Is she doing that? Is she all right? Is she engaging in drugs, alcohol, sex, etc.? You know, all of these worries, all of these ideas, these negative thoughts in my head, this panic. That really is what anxiety is like. People often blame me for anxiety. People often shun me for it. But I really want you guys to understand how I feel when I'm anxious. How much it hurts for me. How broken I am when I'm anxious. And how much support I need just to make it through the day. And for those of you who've been there and supported me, I want to say thank you. Thank you for being there. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for showing me unconditional love. And I pray to God that no matter what I do and no matter what happens, you guys all stick with me and we all stick with each other, and that we learn to love and care for each other. And for those of you who have abandoned me, have shunned me, because I'm anxious, because I'm different, I want to say that I am sorry that you feel that way, and that I forgive you guys, and that I love you guys all very much. My anxiety is not going to end. It really isn't. It's kind of built into me. It's built into my Asperger's. It's built into my mindset, my brain wiring. I'm always going to worry about Kathy. I'm always going to worry about whether or not we'll ever make up with each other. I'll always worry about, will this friend, abandon me again or something like that. I'll always have these quote-unquote trust issues. But maybe as I go through these issues, I can overcome them. I can slowly learn to be stronger, become stronger by facing these issues head on. But for that, I need support. And I need people who understand my anxiety and are willing to help. Thank you very much for tuning into this vlog, and I hope this really gave you a new perspective on people who have anxiety. If you know someone, a loved one, a friend, which all my friends are loved ones basically to me, and if you know someone, anyone who has anxiety, who is fearful for anything, who is anxious about anything, please take time out of your day to let them know that you're there for them, to let them know that you love them, and to let them know that you are here if they ever need you. Because while you may not understand it, that could be the difference between life and death for them. Thank you, and have a good night.